So again, the name of today's lesson is Disobedience, the Manifestation of Wickedness. Disobedience, the manifestation of wickedness. You know, man didn't start being disobedient to the Lord. Throughout time, we'll see that man always been disobedient to the Lord. And the Lord has always tried to reach him in every generation to recover him, to keep him from killing this man. So we're going to pick up Genesis chapter 2, and we're going to pick it up at verse 16. We're going to go back to the foundational scripture where it all began, the reason why we all are going through these challenges, these suffering, because only if man had just listened, life would be a utopia. But man didn't, so here we are going through these changes. So Genesis chapter 2, verse 16.
And
when you get there, go ahead.
And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every fruit tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat.
Right, so that's straight instruction right there. He didn't mix words. Go ahead.
But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die.
So in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. That's the punishment. So he didn't die in one day, but he died over a period of time. A man has not lived to 1,000 years. So normally, well, if he had not spoken to the tree, then of course we'd be living to 1,000 years and then make the change. But that didn't happen. So let's go see how this man reacted to the instruction that God gave him. So let's go pick this up at Genesis chapter 3, and we're going to pick this up at verse 1. Genesis 3 and 1. Once you get it, go ahead.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Ye have God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
Right, so he's repeating to her what God has said. Go ahead.
And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
Right, so she even add something else to it. The Lord only tell her not to eat from it, but she said, even if you touch it, you're going to die. So he just let you know that she fully understand that you're not supposed to even have any conversation with this serpent. Go ahead, verse 4.
And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die.
Go ahead.
For God do know that in the day that ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Okay, so if she eat of this tree, she's gonna be like God, knowing good and evil. So next week lesson, this is the physical part of it. So next week lesson is called spiritual wickedness in high places. So next week I'm going to show you the spiritual side to this. So we're looking at the physical side right now. Go ahead.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat.
Right, so she couldn't resist. So basically she, had conversation with the serpent. Go ahead.
And gave also unto her husband. With her he did eat.
Okay, so both of them got corrupted. So let's drop down to verse 13 and go ahead.
And the Lord God said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
Okay, so the serpent tricked her, and she did eat. Did she eat physical fruit, or did she just eat lies from what the serpent was feeding her? Okay, go ahead.
And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
Right. So, again, the Lord is using metaphor so that you can see the spiritual, get the spiritual understanding behind this. So, of course, these are fallen angels. They're not cattle. But the Lord is letting you know that Satan will not stand in judgment. But the other rest of the fallen angels, they will stand in judgment. Because didn't Paul tell you that we are going to judge angels? So that's what he's talking about. Go ahead, verse 15.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
Okay, go ahead.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
Right, so if you wonder why you're going through the challenges that you're going through, this is the reason why. So this is one curse that the Lord put on the entire world, that he put on the woman. So we're going to see he's going to put the curse also on the man because of disobedience. Go ahead.
And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake, in sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life.
Right, so they choose the person of the wicked versus the follow the Lord. So the Lord passed these sentences on Adam and Eve that is affecting us even today. It has not changed. Go ahead.
Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shall thou eat bread to thy return into the ground. For out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and into dust shall thou return.
All right, that's good. So now we have to labor for this salvation. Before, if Adam and Eve was obedient, then we wouldn't be laboring for salvation. Salvation would be just there for us to take. We wouldn't have to be facing all these challenges, taking the word to other people. They've been, rejecting us, rejecting the word. So we'd be going through all of that if man was obedient. So now we're going to look at Exodus 19, where the Lord is going to bring Israel out to him, because the Lord is purposeful in how he operates, for he does not make mistakes. He had Moses verbalize his instruction first before bringing the people out to him. So we're going to go to Exodus 19, and we're going to pick this up at verse 1. Exodus 19 and 1. So the people first have to agree with the Lord before Moses can bring them before him. Because the Lord will not deal with a rebellious people. So they have to accept his contract verbally, then he's going to bring them in front of him to affirm that contract that Moses went over with them. Okay, so let's pick this up at verse 1. Go ahead.
In the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were going forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai.
Right, so this is modern day Saudi Arabia. Go ahead.
For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai and had pitched in the wilderness. And there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel.
Right. So the Lord is making a point. Look, I'm talking to those seed of Jacob, those physical seed of Jacob. So let them know that, hey, they need to listen to me. Come on, go ahead.
Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself.
This is just a metaphor. The Lord is just showing you how swiftly he took Israel out of Egypt and he took down Egypt. Go ahead.
Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
Right. So if you be obedient, this is the condition. You're going to be a particular treasure unto me. So now we're going to keep reading and see how well Israel behaved themselves. Go ahead.
And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
Okay, so now let's drop down to verse 8.
And all the people answered together and said, All that the Lord hath spoken we will do.
So all of them with one consent agree that all that the Lord said that they will do, right? Many of you who went through the baptism program, we go through the scriptures, and what we do we ask you if you agree with what the Lord said, right? When we do the covenant scriptures. So that is basically the same thing the Lord is doing with Israel. Go ahead.
And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord.
Okay, so now let's go to, I know we read Exodus 20, so we're going to just read like maybe, 3 verses of it. Exodus 20, skip right over to Exodus 20. Since we read the entire commandment, we're just going to just read 3 particular verses. Go ahead.
And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
Right, so the Lord is just simply making it clear now. Hope you understand what I'm telling you, because there's a consequences when you don't follow these instructions. So now we're going to drop to verse 18 and go ahead.
And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off.
Right, because they're scared they might die. They saw the power of the Lord. Go ahead.
And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear, but let not God speak with us, lest we die.
Right, so they don't want the Lord to speak directly to them. They rather hear it from Moses. They rather hear it from a man's mouth than the Lord's mouth. Okay, go continue reading.
And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for God is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your face, that ye sin not.
Right, so the Lord come to prove you. He wants to know what's on your mind. Moses verbalized my contract to you, my covenant to you. Now, are you willing to keep this covenant? Or nay? So, let's see. Yeah, go ahead.
And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where God was.
Right, so God never yet showed his image or his shape of any kind. because he know man like to make images and like to make these charms that they wear around their neck that's representing God. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Moses,
Mm-hmm.
Thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, Ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. Ye shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall ye make unto you gods of gold.
So that's clear direction. Don't make no gods of silver or no gods of gold. So now, let's go to Exodus 30. And we're going to look at the mindset of Aaron. Exodus 30. We're going to look at the mindset of Aaron and how Aaron responds to the Lord's instruction. So the Lord is going to even warn Aaron and his son, because they are the high priests, about burning incense and having a strange fire unto him. So let's pick this up at verse 9. Go ahead.
Ye shall offer no strange incense thereon.
Mm-hmm.
No
strange incense. Keep that in mind.
No burnt sacrifice, nor meat offering, neither shall you put drink offerings thereon.
Right, so that's plain. No strange incense, nor burnt sacrifice or meat offering. Go ahead, verse 10.
And Aaron shall make an atonement upon the horns of it, once in a year with the blood of the sin offering of atonements. Once in a year shall he make atonement upon it throughout your generations.
Right. So Aaron's going to make an atonement every year for the children of Israel and for the world. Go ahead.
It is most holy unto the Lord.
Okay, so now let's skip over to verse 31. Chapter 31, Exodus chapter 31. And we're just going to read one verse from this Exodus 31. We're going to read verse 18, because the Lord called Moses up to the mountain to put in writing the terms of the agreement, the terms of the covenant. Just like when you're doing any kind of business, they're going to hand you a contract. Like when you buy a car, like when you rent an apartment, there's always a contract that follows to keep both parties binding. So now let's read verse 18, because the Lord knew that Israel, our people in general, he knows their short-sightedness. They won't remember verbal contracts because they're willing to break them. Go ahead, verse 18.
And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone written with the finger of God.
So the Lord is putting that contract together now that they agreed verbally, and then they came to the mountain, and the Lord affirmed the agreement with them. So now let's drop down to chapter 32, and we're going to pick this up at verse 1. Go ahead.
And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron, and said unto him, Up, make us gods which shall go before us, for as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him.
Right. So didn't the Lord warn them, said don't make no images, don't make no god of silver and gold? Where did all that went? Through one ear and out the other. So that's why the Lord called Moses up to put it on, write it in stone, so it can't be changed. It's written in stone. Because he knows that these people are disobedient and they will not follow instructions to save their life. It's just like we'll read the the dress code every week. And there's somebody who's been here, in here for like a couple of years. They'll come in here with some ripped up jeans or some clothing that doesn't meet the criteria of the dress code. So it didn't just start now. It was from the beginning. Man, I have a hard time listening. Go ahead. Where we at?
Verse 2.
Verse 2. All right. Continue reading.
And Aaron said unto them, break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me.
This is the high priest. This is who's supposed to defend the word. This is the high priest. Go ahead.
And all the people brake off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron. And he received them at their hands, and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made it a molten calf. And they said, these be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
Right. So how do you take off golden earring, take off all that gold, melt it, and turn around and pray to it? Something got to be mentally wrong with these people. And this is why some religion, they don't believe in wearing gold, because they think it represents, some kind of image or some kind of God. But as long as it's not a crucifix around your neck or, any kind of charm that symbolizes some kind of religion, then you're fine. But again, that comes with understanding. So let's pick this up at verse 5. Go ahead.
And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made a proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast to the Lord.
Man, if I was Moses, I would have knocked Aaron right out. I would have given him a left hook he would never forget. Go ahead.
And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made a proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast unto the Lord. And they rose up early on the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought peace of offerings, and the people sat down to eat and to drink and rose up to play.
So they're offering sacrifice unto a God that is no God. And Aaron's supposed to be the high priest that representing the Lord. Go ahead, read.
And the Lord said unto Moses, go, get thee down, for thy people which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves.
Right. If the Lord disowned them now, because these hard-headed, stiff-necked people, they won't listen. Now they have corrupted themselves. After we had that verbal conversation about keeping his covenant, they came to the mountain, he affirmed it with them. And the short time that Moses went up to the mountain, they decided to corrupt themselves, worshiping other gods of silver and gold. Go ahead.
They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I've commanded them. They have made them a molten calf and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, these be the gods, O Israel, which have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
So that's a slap in the face to the Lord. They reject the Lord. Not only that, they reject the Lord, they have rejected the Most High. Some people read this and they don't realize that this is the Most High that they are even rejecting. The one that they claim to say they're scared to even use the name Jesus. But this is Jehovah who became Jesus. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Now therefore let me alone, that my wrath may wax hot against them, and that I may consume them, and I will make thee a great nation.
Right. It's like a parents keep wanting their kids, and the kid ain't listening, and the parents have to break up Mr. Magic. And Mr. Magic have to work wonder to keep them straight. No, they're upset, they're hurting, they're crying. Oh, I got a mean parents. No, you got a loving parents that want to keep you right. Now let's drop down to verse 13 and go ahead.
Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, thy servants to...
So Moses has to quickly remind the Lord that, hey, remember Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who you changed his name to Israel? Remember them? Remember the promise you made to them? Go ahead.
To whom thou swearest by thy own self, and said unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever.
Right. So you see, do you see that part that it said you swear by thine own self? I mean, this is Jehovah. He could not swear by no other God but himself. So the Father is not higher than him. There is just two in the Godhead. So if say for example the Father was higher than him, then he would say, I swear by the Father. But he said, no, I can't swear by nobody higher but myself. So this is Jehovah who became Jesus. And the one that all these Israelites pitting on, telling you about there is no J in Hebrew. But these are Hebrews who speak in Hebrew language and they're still disobeying the Lord. So what does it make a difference what language do you speak? If you're a disobedient person, you're going to be a disobedient person regardless, right? Go ahead.
And the Lord repented of the evil which he thought to do unto his people.
Mm-hmm.
And Moses turned and went down from the mount, and the two tables of the testimony were in his hands. The tables were written on both their sides. On the one side and on the other side were they written. And the tables were written, and the tables were the work of God.
Of God, right. The tables were written with God's fingers. Go ahead.
And
like
the
an
writing,
engraving tool.
And the writing was the writing of God graven upon the tables.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay. Verse 15, that was verse 15. We're going to...
That was 16.
Okay, go ahead. Finish verse 16, and then we're going to drop to verse 20.
Oh, we finished 16.
Oh, you finished 16? So, all right, let's drop to verse 20.
And he took the calf which they had made and burnt it in the fire and ground it to powder and strawed it upon the water and made the children of Israel drink of it.
Right, so Moses had to do something. You can't just go cry to the Lord and you ain't done nothing. What the book say? Faith without works is dead. You got to show that, Moses had to show the people that, look, I believe in this God and I'm going to lay down some punishment unto you for worshiping these false God. Go ahead.
And Moses said unto Aaron, what did this people unto thee, that thou hast brought so great a sin upon them? And Aaron said, let not the anger of my Lord wax hot. Thou knowest the people that they are set on mischief.
So Aaron is trying to talk his way out of it. He's putting it all on the people that they are set on mischief. This is a high priest now. This is a spineless high priest that won't even stand up to his own responsibility. So even the high priest is disobedient to the Lord. Go ahead. One more verse.
For they said unto me, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him.
Right. So Aaron could have just put up some resistance and said no. But as you can see, Aaron didn't put up no kind of resistance. He just went along with the flow. He went along to get along. So much for leadership, right?
Exactly.
All right, so we at verse 23, so we're going to drop down to verse 25. Go ahead.
And when Moses saw that the people were naked, for Aaron had made them naked unto their shame among their enemies.
Right, so Aaron made them naked. How does Aaron make them naked? This is a spiritual thing. He removed the protection of the Lord from around them. It's just like if you decide that, well, I ain't going to serve God no more after you've been baptized. Guess what? The edges that the Lord put around you, He's going to remove it. And when the drama come to you, you're going to come through this door. Oh, Brother Andre, can you pray for me? You know, boy, I've been going through some hardship. Of course you're going to go through some hardship because you don't have the most high protection with you. And he told you this is like joining the mob. You can get in, but you can't get out without drama coming to you. And there's a price you're going to pay for being disobedient. You know, like my father used to say, a hard head make a soft backside. Go ahead.
Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, who is on the Lord's side?
That's right. Who is on the Lord's side? And look at the hypocrite going to shift. As if they were always on the Lord's side. Go ahead.
Let him come unto me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him.
Okay, that's verse 26. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, put every man his sword by his side, and go in and out from the gate to the gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother, and every man his companion, and every man his neighbor.
Right. So you see what disobedient brought them? Death. Disobedient brought them death. That's why the lesson name disobedient, the manifestation of wickedness. The wicked, the disobedient brought forth the wickedness unto the people. The wickedness, they start worshiping these idols. That's wickedness. Then they turn their back on God. Same way with Adam and Eve. They turned their back on the Lord. So now, since they turned their back on the Lord, guess what? The Lord has to use a people in order to recover Adam's fallen race. So he used Israel. Remember, Noah had during the flood, there was only 8 souls that saved on the boat, right?
Right.
The Lord did not save Noah's family because Shem, Ham, and Japheth was righteous. No, he saved it because Noah was righteous. There was one righteous man the Lord looked down and saw, and that one righteous man saved his entire family. Just like Rahab the harlot, she saved her entire household. So, you know, don't let other people or other members of your family drag you down. You know what you're doing is right. You know the God that you're serving is true. So you got to keep doing what you know is right. All right, so where are we at?
28.
28. Okay, so read verse 28 and we're going to skip.
And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moses. And there fell of the people that day about 3,000 men.
So 3,000 men lost their lives because of disobedience. Drop down to verse 30 and go ahead.
And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses said unto the people, Ye have sinned, a great sin, and now I will go up unto the Lord. Peradventure, I shall make an atonement for your sin.
Right, so Moses mitigate the damage. That's what they call damage control. So now he's going to go to the Lord and fall upon the Lord's mercy. Go ahead and read.
And Moses returned unto the Lord and said, Oh, this people have sinned a great sin, and have made them gods of gold.
All right. Drop down to verse 35.
And the Lord plagued the people, because they made the calf which Aaron made.
Right. So even though Moses asks, who is on the Lord's side? And they think they're outsmarting the Lord by moving over on the side with Levite. The Lord already knows what's in their thoughts and mind. So he plagued them. Because in not one of them going to leave that wilderness alive. Because of what? Their unbelief and disobedience. So now we're going to go to Leviticus chapter 10. Leviticus chapter 10, and we're going to pick this up at verse 1. Remember, we read Exodus 30, how the Lord warned Aaron not to make any strange fire. So now we're going to expound on this event with Aaron and the incense that he's supposed to be burning with his son. So just like the Lord warned Adam before, don't speak to the tree in the midst, the Lord also warned Aaron. So before the Lord pass judgment on you, he give you a fair warning. So let's pick this up at verse 1. Go ahead.
And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took out of them his censer, and put fire therein, and put incense therein, and offered strange fire before the Lord, which he commanded them not.
Right, he commanded them not. So let's see what the Lord is going to do. You know, for them to, you know, what the Lord is going to do to these disobedient brothers. Go ahead. Verse 2.
And there went out fire from the Lord, and devoured them, and they died before the Lord.
Right. So the Lord expedite the punishment to Aaron's son expeditiously because they disobey him. Both died in their sin. Now, I want you to hold your spot here. We're going to look at the importance of these incense that Aaron and his son was supposed to be burning, what it represents. So we're going to go to Revelation 8, and we're going to pick this up at verse 3. Revelation 8 and 3. Revelation 8 and 3. Am I going too fast? Okay, cool. Revelation 8 and 3. And we're going to look at what did Nadab and Abihu did wrong with the censer to be killed. Let us look into it. All right? Go ahead at verse 3, pick it up.
And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne.
So that's what Aaron and his son was doing, was offering prayers for the saints. And the Lord take that very serious. So you have your golden censer. You had the charcoal to the golden censer. Then you put the fire in there. Then you add your incense in there. So they offer this strange smell to the Lord, and the Lord recognized that the incense wasn't right. And the Lord took them out because he already gave them full instruction of how to do this serious dedication to the Lord. Go ahead.
And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints ascended up before God out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth.
Okay, that's good. So we just wanted to show you what the purpose of the censer, what it's supposed to do, and where they went wrong. So let's go to back to Leviticus 10, and we're going to pick this up at verse 3. Back to Leviticus 10, and we're going to pick this up at verse 3. You see, neither the Old or the New Testament is written in chronological order. So, it's all in a puzzle. So you got to put these puzzles together. So go ahead and pick it up at verse 3.
Then Moses said unto Aaron, This is it that the Lord spake, saying, I will be sanctified in them that come nigh me, and before all the people I will be glorified.
That's right, because if you're worshiping the Lord, you got to worship him in spirit and in truth. You can't be shortcutting your work when it comes to the Lord. The Lord ain't going to play that. Like they say, Omi don't play that. Go ahead.
And Aaron held his peace. And Moses called Mishael and Elzaphan, the sons of Israel, and the uncle of Aaron, and said unto them, Come near, carry your brethren from before the sanctuary out of the camp.
So, that fire burned them to ashes. When you go to a cremation, the body, it turned to ashes quick, but the bone, that don't burn. They got to break the bone up into fine pieces. But that fire was so hot, even the bone went to ashes. So that's how powerful the Lord's fire is. Okay, where we at? Go ahead.
5.
5? Go ahead.
So they went near and carried them in their coats out of the camps, as Moses had said. And Moses said unto Aaron and unto Eleazar and unto Ithamar his son, Uncover not your heads, neither rend your clothes, lest ye die. And
right. So now they're gonna. Aaron is taking notice. He's gonna listen. He's gonna listen now, because he just lost 2 sons because of disobedience.
Wow.
So now he's gonna listen. Go ahead. Let's see if he's gonna try the funny move. Go ahead.
Lest ye die, and lest wrath come upon all the people, but let your brethren, the whole house of Israel, bewail the burning which the Lord hath kindled.
Right. So Israel may mourn for them, but you, Aaron, you can't even drop a tears for your son. That's tough. The Lord said, if I see you with a sorrowful face, I'm going to deal with you. Because I've already warned you. So the Lord is pretty tough when he wants to. Go ahead, verse 7.
And ye shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die. For the anointing oil of the Lord is upon you. And they did according to the word of Moses. And the Lord spake unto Aaron, saying...
That's good. So they did according to what the instruction that Moses gave them. They didn't drop the ball this time. Their hearing and comprehension worked very well this time, because the Lord got their attention when he killed both of his sons. So now we're going to go to Numbers 25. Numbers 25. And we're going to pick this up at verse 1. Disobedient people, the manifestation of wickedness. They were taught the laws and statute, but they choose their own righteousness. So that's the topic we are dealing with. People decide to choose their own righteousness. Like tomorrow, them churches will be packed, and the Lord has never yet sanctioned Sunday as his day or sanctified. And it makes you wonder, how is it they can't recognize that the 7th day of the Lord means something?
Right.
That the 7th day is the end of man. Oh, you're gonna teach your people that the first day is the end of man? In the Pentecost, we call that first day the 8th day, right? Because it represents the Father's kingdom.
That's right.
All right, so let's pick this up at verse 1.
And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
Right, so these Israelites, remember, they have receive the commandments. So now they start committing whoredom. Go ahead.
And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. And the people did eat and bowed down to their gods.
Oh my God. Go ahead.
And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. And the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel.
So this is the instruction that the Most High gave Moses. Because if you look at verse 4, it has two lords in here. It said, and the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of these people and hang them up before the Lord. He didn't say hang them up before me. He said before the Lord. So he's got to talking about the other God in the Godhead, which everyone referred to as the Most High. So we see two gods right there. So even him you're making angry. Go ahead, pick it up at verse 5. So, I mean, even these people, Hebrew Israelite, regardless what language they spoke, regardless of the fringes they wore, they were still disobedient to the Lord. So what good is all of that? If the least thing you got to do is to be obedient.
Right.
Go ahead.
And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one of his men that were joined unto Baal Peor.
Right, kill every one of them. Don't leave none alive. Because that's wickedness that they brought in the camp. Disobedient, the manifestation of wickedness. They brought wickedness because of their disobedience inside the camp of Israel. Go ahead.
And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brother a Midianite woman in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Right. In all of that, he's going to run and get him a Midianitish woman, which Israel look at her as a stranger, and he's going to bring her right at the temple, lean up on the holy temple. Go ahead.
And when
Let's see what's going to happen to her. Go ahead.
And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was strayed from the children of Israel.
Right, so the plague was stayed off of the children of Israel because the Lord was getting ready to bring more drama to Israel because of their disobedience. Go ahead.
And those that died in the plague were 24,000.
So 24,000 of them died in the plague because they are disobedient. Go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, have turned my wrath away from the children of Israel.
Right, because what he did what was right in the sight of the Lord. It might not be popular, but it is right. Go ahead.
While he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy.
So, with his action, he saved countless lives of Israel. Go ahead, read.
Wherefore say, behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace. And he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his God and made an atonement for the children of Israel.
Right. So sometimes you got to exercise some zealousy for your God. And show that, hey, you truly believe in what you're doing. So now, let's go to Deuteronomy 4. Deuteronomy chapter 4. And we're going to pick this up at verse 5. So we are showing you examples of how people are disobedient to the Lord and the consequences that they have to pay.